Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Power Classes. Today we are going to start with class 12 economics second chapter, that is utility analysis. So let's begin with the chapter introduction. Utility means the ability of a commodity to satisfy human wants. ये utility का meaning है. So since resources are limited and wants are unlimited, every consumer tries to get maximum satisfaction from available resources. इसलिए यूटिलिटी एनालिसिस एक्सप्लेन्स द कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर. कंज्यूमर का बिहेवियर कैसा है ये यूटिलिटी एनालिसिस एक्सप्लेन करता है. So let's begin with the features of utility. So we will see one by one. So first is relative concept. So utility changes according to time and place. For example, woolen clothes are more useful in winter than in summer. Sand is more useful at a construction site than at a seashore. Second one is the subjective concept. Utility differs from person to person because of different tastes, habits, and professions. Because everyone's needs, the choices, taste, fashions, all are different. Example, a stethoscope is useful to a doctor but not to a ordinary person. Ethnicity and natural neutral concept. Utility has no relation with morality. So a thing only leads to satisfy a want, whether good or bad. Example, a knife can be used for cutting fruits or for harming someone. Fourth, we have utility differs from usefulness. So how utility has capacity to satisfy wants and usefulness the value in use. So milk has both utility and usefulness. Liquor gives utility to a addict but has no usefulness. Fifth one, we have utility differs from pleasure. So a commodity may have utility but may not give pleasure. For example, an injection that cures diseases, but so it has utility. It cures disease, so it has utility, but it does not give enjoyment. It gives pain. Sixth one is utility differs from satisfaction. Utility is the cause of consumption. So satisfaction is the result of the consumption. Example, water has utility because it can satisfy thirst, and satisfaction is experienced after drinking it. Seventh, we have measurement of utility is hypothetical. So utility is psychological and cannot be measured directly. So utility may be positive, zero, or negative. Negative means disutility. Next, we have utility is multi-purpose. One commodity can satisfy many wants. Example, electricity. Electricity is used for lighting, cooling, heating, and many other purposes. Next, we have utility depends on intensity of want. So greater the urgency of a want, greater is the utility. So example is food has more utility to a hungry person than to a person who is not hungry. Next, we have utility is the basis of demand. So how a person demands only those goods which gives utility to him. Aha. So example is a sick person demands medicines because they satisfy his need. These were 10 features of utility. Now we will be starting with the types of utility. Now first type is the form utility. So utility created by changing the shape or structure of a commodity is known as form utility. Examples are furniture from wood, toys from clay, etc. Next, we have place utility. So place utility means it is related with the place. Play a utility created by changing the place of a commodity is known as place utility. Example, woolen clothes are more useful in cold places. So transport creates place utility. Third, we have service utility. Service utility arises when personal services are rendered by various professionals. For example, services of doctors, teachers, lawyers. So utility created through services provided by professionals is service utility. Examples, doctors, lawyers, teachers. Fourth one, we have knowledge utility. So when a consumer acquires knowledge about a particular product, it is called knowledge utility. For example, utility of a mobile phone or a computer increases when a person knows about its various functions. Utility 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 increases when consumer know how to use the product. Example is knowledge about the mobile phone functions increases its utility. Fifth, we have possession utility. So utility created when ownership changes from seller to buyer. Example, transfer of goods from shops to customers. It changes ownership of the or transfers the ownership of the product or the commodity. Next, we have time utility. So utility increases due to change in time of a use. Example is textbooks are more useful during examinations. Blood stored in blood banks becomes useful during emergencies. So these were the 6 types of utilities. Next, we have concept of utility. So there are two concepts, total utility and marginal utility. So first is total utility, that is TU. So total utility means the sum of utilities obtained from all units consumed. Definition is total utility refers to the aggregate utility derived from all units of a commodity consumed. So it is a total utility. Now next is the marginal utility. Marginal means the extra. So marginal utility means the additional utility obtained from consuming one more unit. The proper definition is marginal utility refers to the additional utility derived from one additional unit of a commodity. You can see the total utility is 100. We consumed one more product, one more commodity. So it become 101. So 1 is the marginal utility, that is extra added. Now you can see here relationship between total utility and marginal utility. What is the relation between your total utility and marginal utility? So marginal utility derived from various units of a commodity and its total utility are interrelated. This can be classified easily followed from the hypothetical example given below. You can see here units of X, total utility and marginal utility. Total utility increases and marginal, as total utility increases at one point, it becomes point of satiety where it stops. From there, marginal utility decreases. It goes to negative. It becomes disutility. So for the first unit, total utility and marginal utility are equal. You can see here at point 10, both TU and MU, that is total utility and marginal utility, are same. And as consumption increases, total utility increases, but at a diminishing rate. You can see total TU is becoming high, but MU is getting down. It is getting into negative. It is becoming disutility. It is the diminishing rate. So marginal utility continuously decreases. When total utility is high or rising, marginal utility is decreasing. So you can see here the point of satiety where both are same. So at a certain point, total utility becomes maximum and constant. Then marginal utility becomes 0. You can see here at 6th position, marginal utility is 0 and total utility is 28. So this is the point of satiety where TU is maximum and MU is 0. This is called the point of satiety. Now beyond point of satiety, total utility starts falling, but marginal utility becomes negative. You can see here disutility area at 6 and 7 bit in between. So total utility decreases, marginal utility becomes negative. So a rational consumer stops here. A rational consumer stops consuming at the point of satiety because maximum satisfaction has been achieved for him, and the excess consumption causes to dissatisfaction. So consumption beyond the point of satiety converts satisfaction into dissatisfaction and creates disutility. So this is the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. There is a question on this also, explain the relationship between marginal utility and total utility. So you can use this diagram and the explanation given here. So in this video, we've seen features of utility, that is relative, subjective, ethically neutral, different from usefulness, different from pleasure, different from satisfaction, hypothetical measurement, multi-purpose, depends on intensity of want and types of basis of demand. Then we've seen 6 types of total utility, that is form utility, place utility, service utility, knowledge utility, possession utility, time utility, and 2 concepts of utility, that is total utility and marginal utility. And then we see the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. And next part we will be starting from law of diminishing marginal utility in next video.